Hi guys, it's me the Big B and welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to touch on one of the subjects that I talked about yesterday in my video, and that was the haunted objects and the doll. Now I know when we say haunted dolls, people start freaking out and there's all sort of a stigma around haunted dolls, but what you've got to remember is that any object has the potential to be haunted or have an attachment given the right circumstances. Say if someone had a favourite toy, a favourite ornament, a favourite piece of jewellery, and they pass over, sometimes the energy can attach to that because it reminds them of when they were alive. And you also get more tragic circumstances. Someone died in a horrific way, they can attach themselves to an object around the area where they died and things like that. There's many different circumstances of why a spirit will attach itself to an object. And a doll, even though we have this thought in our head of dolls and you can see all the old freaky dolls, Victorian dolls with all the Victorian dress and the weird looking faces and the really creepy looking shit, and then we've got films like Annabelle and things like that about haunted dolls. But a doll is just an object. It just happens to look like a person, and dolls tend, like clowns, to freak the hell people out. Now I'm going to introduce you to the doll that I was talking about yesterday because I've asked the gentleman who loaned us the doll, and he said it's fine, he's happy with us talking about it and showing it on video and doing some experiments with it. So thank you, Dave, for that. Now Timmy, as I explained in the other video, we took to Gibraltar with us because he wanted us to see, because the guys over in Gibraltar are very good what they do, they're very good mediums, they're very good channelers, and I just wanted them to be in the presence of this doll because the doll has a certain aura about it. It's not negative, there is nothing negative whatsoever, guys. But there's a, what's the word I'm looking for? When you touch the doll, or when you're very close to the doll, you become very emotional. Now it's not like a gut-wrenching sadness or anything like that, but you just have this emotional state, a bit teary, a bit sad. I wouldn't say bad, but it's there. Now when we took it to Gibraltar, we kind of figured out what was going on with the doll. It doesn't have an attachment as such. There's not a spirit attached to it, but there's a spirit attracted to it. Now, I'm going to show you Timmy now. Now, when you see Timmy, he's not a freaky looking doll at all. He's not a freaky looking dude, as you can see. He's got blue eyes, the same as me. And he's a quite cheerful looking little chap. But again, as soon as I've touched it, as soon as I hold it, you get this feeling, this kind of like, I say, emotional state. Not negative, but in Gibraltar, the guys touched Timmy and they got the same impression as us. There's a little girl who's attracted to Timmy, who's always around. Now she's not attached, she didn't have this doll, it wasn't her doll, but it obviously must remind her, whether it's the way it's dressed or she had a one similar, we don't know. And she's around it. And there's an older lady as well. Now I think that's possibly where the emotion is coming from, whether again she's attracted to the doll because of the doll or whether she's attracted to the little girl. But what we do know is Dave said there were other spirits around the doll that we didn't pick up on at that time. And the reason for that is it seems that the little girl spirit is attracting other spirits in, almost creating like a doorway. And she's not doing it out of anything sort of negative, she's not doing it on purpose, it's just other spirits seem to be attracted to her energy. And they come in and then they go. They come in, they go. Some of them hang around for a bit longer than others. But that's why Dave was having other spirits' names pop up and kind of at random and kind of didn't make any sense. That's because they just come in and go on all the time. Now the first time we experimented with Timmy, it was here in the flat. Dave brought him over. We stuck him on a table. We stuck a K2 meter on him. We pointed the Connect at him. We stuck some of the apps. I've got one of the apps running now. I've got Paravoice 2 running just in case around Timmy, because you just never know. And it just all kicked off. We live streamed that. The K2 meter pegged off the scale. The Connect was mapping in some weird looking frigging figure that kept mapping in, then mapping out. Then it would take more of a human form. Then it would go again. It was just coming and going all the time. And we were getting intelligent replies through the actual app and things like that. It was just kind of a crazy old time. In contrast, when we took Timmy all the way to Gibraltar, we put all the equipment around them and nothing happened. There was nothing at all. But what was very interesting, and this again shows the difference The first night we took him 2 nights to the guys in Gibraltar. The first night was just to introduce Timmy, just so they could touch him and feel him, and they felt the same emotions as I did, and others have. But they have a dog, and the dog is a bit hyperactive and jumpy, but it kind of came over to Timmy and it licked Timmy's face, and it was fine. It was fascinated with Timmy, and we had to sort of put the doll up out the way. And that was interesting because the second night we brought Timmy over, which was to do a proper little investigation and put some equipment on him and get the guys to channel and use the gifts they have to try and pick up what was going on with Timmy, that dog was a different kettle of fish. As soon as I got the doll out and put it on the table, and put a K2 meter there and was getting it ready, the dog was growling at Timmy and was not happy at all. It just wasn't having none of it. So something changed. The first night, licking its face, thought it was fantastic, and it kept watching him. And as the night went on, and we didn't get really much activity on the equipment at all, we got more information through the guys channeling and things like that, and picking up on the spirits that were around Timmy. But the dog actually came and sat up with us and almost laid across us, and almost like it was protecting us from something. And it kept intently watching Timmy on the table and then growling. I mean, this dog just normally just licked and was like a happy bouncy thing. It just fucking sat there, and it kept looking, and it was just making eye contact with Timmy all the time, right across the frigging room. But then it would just sit, it would just growl, this low growl, like, and you just look on it thinking, okay. But we still didn't pick up anything negative from the doll, so we're not quite sure what the dog was picking up on, whether it was just there was something, other spirit coming in, because of the little girl, like I said, brings other spirits in. But it was very interesting. The equipment didn't pick up on much, but that dog was seeing something that second night that it didn't see the first night. Now, I don't believe that the little girl or the older woman are any sort of threat, even though we get this feeling, but something changed. And I think that's what Dave's been picking up on, because while Timmy he has been in Gibraltar, Dave said his mood has changed. It's become a lot lighter. He's become a lot happier. The mood, the atmosphere in the house has changed. So he's asked me to keep hold of Timmy just a little bit longer, just to see if that continues. Now, Timmy lives over on a seat there. I don't have him in a box or anything like that. He just sits there in his own little seat over there. And you do, every time you walk in the room, there's just a feeling. Like I said, it's an emotional feeling, but there's just something. So that's why we're going to do some more experiments. I intend to point the connector Timmy again, do all of that, see if I can map this figure in so you guys can actually see it. Well, see it better. Some of you guys who watched the original live stream will have seen that, but I want to try and, obviously I'm going to try and live stream on possibly YouTube this time. If not, it'll definitely be Facebook again, but we'll see where that goes. But I will video things anyway, so I can put stuff on YouTube as well. But he sits over there. Nothing's ever moved in the house. Nothing's kind of got really freaky. Something like that. Some people with dolls, they get freaked out. Timmy's never moved. Nothing like that. And as you can see, I'm sitting with this next to it, and this Paravoice 2 is normally very accurate and can be very good. We're not getting any sort of activity at the minute. But again, that doesn't mean nothing, considering what happened in Gibraltar, because by God, the equipment didn't pick up anything, but that dog was not a happy dog. And it wasn't happy really until Timmy was put back in his protective bubble wrap and put in the bag, and we left. And then the dog was happy again. So it's fascinating to think what that dog was picking up on around this doll. So that's where we're going to go, guys. Next couple of videos, we're going to try and see if we can get some answers, see if we can get some more information from Timmy. We're going to use the apps, obviously, and see if we can pull some more information out. Use the Connect, see if we can map this figure, and see if we can map any figures in, anything that's around Timmy at all. It's like a thing. There's just an aura coming off this doll, and if you guys feel anything while watching this video, you get any feelings, any thoughts, any names, anything like that, please let us know. Now, the history of the doll, we don't exactly know a great deal of history. Dave got it from a guy who was selling the doll. I don't quite know why. Possibly he was having problems with it because Dave, like I say, has had certain problems since owning the doll, emotionally and things like that, even more than usual. And I just can't put my finger on it. And see, I know there's this little girl and this lady and there's other spirits coming in, but there's just something about it. So that'll be for the next video, guys. We're going to do a couple of them and let's see what we can get. And it's going to be fascinating. It is a fascinating subject. The fact that a spirit can attach itself to an object, and we always assume a spirit can attach itself to an old object, old furniture, old this, old that. But in this modern day and age, people are dying all the time, so it's a fascinating thing. Could someone attach themselves to, say, like a mobile phone? Because there's no difference between a mobile phone or a modern piece of equipment, a gaming machine, a fucking 3DS, anything like that. It's no different to that, to an old piece of furniture, an old piece of jewellery. If someone truly loved that item and they pass over, could they attach themselves to something like that? And I would say the answer is yes, because there's nothing special about the object a spirit is attaching to, apart from the fact it has some emotional attachment to that object, whether it's a memory, like I say, or they owned it and it meant something to them, it was special to them. It's even the theory that if someone meets a violent end, shall I say, and they near a certain object, the spirit can then attach itself to an object. Say they were killed in a chair or on a bed or something like that. Can the spirit then be locked to that item? And there are many theories out there, and that's why we're kind of doing this. It just happens to be a doll. I'm just grateful it's not a frigging clown doll or a really creepy ass looking doll. That would give effect, but I'm pleased it's just kind of a normal-ish plain looking doll, so we can take that out of the equation, that it's not just our imaginations because of how this damn thing looks. Because if you saw that sat, you wouldn't, it just doesn't look creepy. He just looks like a cheerful little chappy, really. Apart from if you've got a phobia against dolls, I suppose. But there we go, guys. Let's see what happens. Let's get this sorted out, which I'll do it over the next couple of days. Let's get something done. Let's see if we can communicate with this little girl and this older woman and possibly whatever else that dog picked up on that's around this doll. Whether that was just something visiting, passing through, or something else that we're not quite picking up on. We don't know, but we will soon find out, guys.